So today we are making Cajun sausage and vegetables. Looks like you all got a recipe. I will tell you right up front that we are not using andouille sausage. It was a little more pricey, and plus it's a little more spicy, and I was afraid it might be too much for people. So we're just gonna heat up our oil real quick.
So you're using no meat whatsoever?
Yes, we are going to use kielbasa, Polish kielbasa, in place of the andouille sausage. Yeah, so that is on one of the recipe suggestions, that was an option that it gave. You could use that if you couldn't find andouille or you just preferred not to use that. It was still, even though we've gone to book bites rather than budget bites, it's still a very budget-friendly recipe, as you'll see on there. I was surprised when I went and bought the ingredients, and I've cooked this 3 times. And every time I cooked it for my family, and I cooked it for my father, and loved it. And usually I serve it with mashed potatoes. And when we do it at home, we just dip it right over our mashed potatoes and make like a little bowl out of it. But you can do rice, pasta, whatever appeals to you the most. So the first thing we're gonna do is just get the sausage a little brown and 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. And I just use regular like vegetable oil or canola oil. You could certainly use olive oil if you wanted to do it that way. And feel free to ask questions and talk. Don't leave it all to me, folks. It's also a very colorful recipe. I don't know, some of you were here last month also when we did the creamy pesto chicken, it was very simple, and it was a very pretty dish, very eye appealing, which, so budget friendly doesn't have to mean that it doesn't look appealing or seem that much, because, with the colorful veggies that we're gonna put on it, it is a very, very nice looking dish. So, yes, I know. And you will notice over on the left, you may have seen it when you picked up the recipes, there is a display of books that are based in Cajun country.
Voodoo.
Yeah, and there's some voodoo dolls. A lot of that is decor from my bedroom. My bedroom is decorated New Orleans style. There's a Bourbon Street sign above on one wall, and voodoo dolls, and a New Orleans Saints fringe trimmed umbrella hanging. So next month, or the next time I see you guys in the library, I want to hear about whether you've cooked this or not and how it went over. I know a couple of people hunted me down about the creamy chicken pesto and said they had cooked it, and it went over very well. And so once it gets brown, and I have this slightly brown, obviously when you're cooking it at home, you get it as brown as what, some people brown is like black, really dark. And probably you could also make this a little more healthier if you went with a kielbasa type. They do have a turkey one, which I really have a hard time wrapping my arms around something like that. I don't know, being raised in the South, it just, it has to have a lot of fat and be not good for you for me. Okay, so at this point, we add a little bit more of the cooking oil, about a tablespoon or so. And then we're gonna get our veggies going. And so I have all the spices, I just mixed them all together. On the cayenne pepper, I used a very scant 1/8 of a teaspoon. The first time I made it, I used the full amount, and I was making it at home, and we loved it. It had quite a bite to it. So I didn't want to make it too spicy for anyone today. So I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out, and you can just, you kind of just season it to taste, basically. So if you really like that hot and spicy, just pour it all in there. So we have 1 yellow squash and 1 zucchini that I cut into like half rounds, and a red bell pepper and a purple onion cut into strips. And we're just gonna saute these, cook them for a little bit until the squash starts getting soft. So it doesn't take a really long time. But see how nice and colorful it is? And I mean, it really doesn't lose its color while you're cooking it, which is nice. So whoa, sorry. And the smoked paprika adds a nice little flavor to it also. Some of my spice stuck in there. Now that I did it this way, I think when I've done it at home and what it says here, I usually put all the veggies in a bowl and toss them around really good with the spice, but it's kind of, the same difference. This actually gets one less bowl dirty. So it is, if you'll look down there, it's pretty high in sodium, so if that's a real concern, you might want to back off on the salt. There's not that much salt in it, and then also maybe be careful just what you serve it over. If you're trying to watch your sodium intake. Which we probably all should be, but I'm not necessarily do that. Y'all all look very engrossed in what you're reading. Turn this up a little bit. Yes, so next month will be our final book bites since we're going to be closing. I know, it's so sad. So we are going to do a demo, but it's also going to be, like a little festive farewell almost. So we're going to do black bean hummus, which some of you that have come, we've talked about that a few times, I think, in some of the other ones. It's super simple, and if you don't like chickpeas, yeah. So, and then probably we'll do a chickpea-based one. And the recipe that I've looked at, there are some options that go along with it. There's like an additional ingredient that you could add that would turn it into something else. So like, if you add a roasted red pepper, then you're going to have roasted red pepper hummus. So there will be some options that I'll print out to go along with it. And then we'll have pita chips or pita bread. And, kind of have a little farewell party. Yeah. I know, it's gonna be sad. But when we open back up, we're gonna have such a beautiful kitchen. Yeah, so we won't have to, like, if there's part of the meal that has to actually be baked, you know, then we're back and forth, and you know, we won't have to do that anymore because it's all going to be very, very open, which will be nice. Pardon? We're going to have a little outdoors garden area, and you know how in the lobby right now there's 2 desks. There's basically a service desk on each side, but we only use one of them. There's only going to be one big service desk, more like, yeah, and like Centennial Park and Starkey. They only have the one, you know, that's the way we're going to be also. Trying to think. I think our tables, which those of you that come in to use computers a lot will appreciate this. I think the tables in the computer lab are going to have outlets in the top of them. So a lot of times if you need to charge your phone, you've got it plugged in on the ground, and you know, you're hard pressed sometime to have it up on the tabletop too. So I think there'll be that. What else, Brenda? Am I forgetting?
Our arts and crafts maker space is going to be on the south side of the building, where all of our youth offices are now.
Okay.
And it's going to be, yeah, we're going to have our shelves. Our shelves are going to be lowered, so it's going to be a much more open feeling.
Where are they going to put a garden anyway?
On the north side of the building, where the duck used to live.
The duck?
What's going to
You don't
be
know
there?
the duck?
No.
What happened to the duck?
The duck.
The duck moved on.
Oh.
He probably moved down the street to where there's a big
Well,
lake.
Probably. There's
I
there's
hope
a big
so.
pond over that way. We didn't do anything to him.
He was living right there where there was no shade. And bless its heart, it would lay eggs, and I think that the eggs probably got cooked before they had a chance to hatch.
Right in the sun.
I mean, you know this crazy Florida weather, and I mean, it just would, and then people would want to feed them, and which isn't, or her, which isn't healthy for them.
All that gluten.
Like bread.
They don't like bread. I mean, they'll eat bread, but it's not good for them.
No.
Yeah, they tell you don't feed them.
Which I never knew that.
Right? I used to go and feed it.
We used to do that, like, yeah, when we were kids, all the time.
Yeah. And they
Not
love
like,
it. Isn't it?
I know, I used to
Yeah,
take
but
my
I like
kids to the
Snickers,
duck pond
too.
to feed bread to
like
the ducks all the
Snickers?
time.
no, I like Snickers,
okay.
but I can't eat Snickers all the time
Right?
because it would not be good for me.
So yeah, he moved on, and we're hopefully to somewhere where it will be a healthier environment for her, and she may actually have some eggs and be a mom.
It's cute when they have the little babies, because we have a pond. I have a pond across from my house, and I actually feed the ducks duck food.
To take her out to her property. I don't know if that ever happened. If it did, she didn't tell us.
I don't know. It's after the roofers were here,
Oh yes.
that's when she moved.
Yeah, we have to.
Okay, if you would like to sample it, there's bowls and forks, napkins.
Real silverware.
We don't scrimp. We don't have the good stuff.